Okay, so I had to make a part 2 on this. 82, 92 Camaro Firebird oil pan removal part 2. So, anyway, that bolt right up there, like I said in the other part 1, that's a 16 millimeter bolt, and you'll use this guy, and it'll won't hurt to use an extension on it, because that's the only way you'll be able to get it. You may want to use a little bit longer extension, just so that you can reach up here and get to it a little easier. And it's really hard to get y'all focused in here, but anyway, y'all get the point. What I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and put the block under here, get the jack rolled up underneath here, and that way I'll keep a little bit of pressure up here. And then I can take my extension in my 16 millimeter, and I can start getting that bolt out. And then the other bolt is, I'm trying to also look through the viewfinder here, so I can actually see. Alright, I got it. Anyway, the motor mount's going to be over here, though. Dang, I'm trying to find it. There it is. There it is. Okay, so it's, see the bracket? Use smog pump, bracket, motor mount. And there's the bolt. And this one, too. Like I said, I'm trying to get y'all. So there you go. You can get it from here too, so you'll be able to get this one from underneath as well. Very easy, very easy. So that's going to be all next. Be right back. And actually, before I do anything, I went ahead and put the nuts and stuff back on the tie rods and the center link, so I don't lose them. I know the camera's going to probably be off a little bit, because now I've got it facing the other way. But it'd be a good time now to go ahead and, I hope this ain't backwards. If it is, I apologize. But you got a bolt here, and you got a bolt there. And that is going to be, hang on a second. If I can find my, okay, dang it. Hang on a second, guys. Alright, so anyway, I'm back. Found it. Where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is right there. Those are going to be probably 15s. Okay. So, 15. I'm trying to find it. I've got it around here some dang where. Oh, there it is. So, yeah. Like I said, this is really difficult trying to do it one hand and everything. Yep. So those are going to be 15s too. So 2 15s, drop it down. 2 15s. But anyway, drop it down. And once you drop it down, you'll be able to follow it back. Damn, look at all that oil. And then you'll be able to, should be able to disconnect all your power stuff off the starter. So yeah. But then again, yeah, be best to just disconnect your starter. That way you've got full range and able to, yeah, full success. So anyway, guys. Alright, so I got the starter just kind of sitting there, braced up against the muffler here. But now you can kind of see how much room. Well, shoot, try and get y'all. Oh, damn, there's the starter right there. There's the oil pan. Okay. But all these pan bolts are going to be 10 millimeter. Every one of them. Every single one of them. Now the fun part is, like I said, raising the motor up. And you're going to have to raise this motor up at least 4. Let me get this thing twisted around here. But you're going to have to get this motor raised up at least 4 to 6 inches up. Be a good time now, if you want to, pop your distributor cap. Or if it's not that close to the firewall like mine is, then you probably won't have to worry about removing the distributor cap. If you own a V8 or something like that, then you'll probably end up having to remove the distributor cap so it don't hit up against the firewall. But I think I've got enough room up there. I shouldn't have to remove it, but I'll just keep an eye on it when I am jacking this thing up. So I'm probably not going to remove the starter fully. I'm just kind of going to let it just hang in there and chill out, because like I said, I mean, it's not going to go anywhere because I've got the exhaust is basically holding that sucker up down there. So it's not really going to put a whole lot of tension and stuff on it, so I ain't got too much stuff to worry about, I don't think. So normally I would just pull the starter because I got plenty of room and all that stuff, but the exhaust is right there anyway. You know what I thought about doing, guys? Speaking of the exhaust, that guy didn't weld. He said he welded the exhaust, but that don't look like no welds to me, right? So eventually what I thought about doing was to put possibly, if I do this, I may take it to the muffler shop and just have them do it, because they probably got the flanges and all that and stuff. And what I may do is like have a flange down here and have a donut gasket and just make it a bolt-on, you know, so that way if for some reason I have to remove the exhaust system out of here, you don't have a full welded pipe, you know, at least you have at least a bolt-on back here or something, and then that way you can just move it out in sections instead of just one huge big ass piece. So that might be a better way to go. Or I could just stick a whole new exhaust under here and call it a day and just have the bolt-ons. I mean, I don't know which would probably be cheaper. Probably having the flanges welded up probably be cheaper, but you know, anyway, that's just kind of a suggestion on my part, for me at least, but just kind of show y'all there. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it here, and I'm gonna get the jack and stuff rolled up underneath here and take a small little break. Alright, so as y'all can see, I may have to drop it down and move the block over just a little, not much, so it will clear the transmission lines and stuff. But you can either do it that way, or you can cut a V shape in the block and stand it upright. But I've always pretty much I've stood blocks up upright and it's worked great, especially if you can get kind of in the groove between the pulley and the harmonic balancer. But I don't have a thin enough block that'll get there, and if I did, it'd crack. So I didn't do it that way. So I'm going to do it this way. I might have to scoot that, like I want to scoot the block and stuff over just a little bit so it'll clear, and then we can move on. Alright, so I went ahead and moved the block over a little bit. So now it's got full clearing range of all areas. Move the belt out of the way so it don't get pinched. So now this part of it's ready. The next part is, remember those motor mount bolts, which are down there. You have to get it from the bottom probably. Get the motor mount bolts out, and then jack it up. And like I say, ones that distributors are really close to the firewall, like I say, you may end up having to remove your cap and get that moved out of the way. Thankfully on mine, I'm pretty far enough away from the firewall, I probably won't have to remove my cap, because like I said, 4 to 6 inches, I mean, that's just moving it up just a little. I mean, it's still quite a bit, but for clearance. But I think I'll still have enough room back there, be fine. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get moving on real quick. Alright, so I'm still working on this side over here. But there's a bolt, or not a bolt, but there's a nut on the back side of this motor mount right here. You stick your hand back here, you'll feel the nut, and you'll feel the bolt. But I think that's probably 11/16, maybe a little smaller, but that's going to be the same way on the other side too. Okay, so I got the motor mount bolt out. Whew, this is kind of hell. But this nut is actually 18, and of course that side's a 16. So it's going to go in just like that. Alright, so when you take it out, that's exactly how it's going to be. So anyway, I'm going to set this up over here so I don't lose it. That goes for that side. Okay, so the next one is over here on this side. I mean, they're pretty, like I said, they're pretty easy to get to. They're just a little kind of pain to get to. Now let me get my flash on so I can show y'all again. The other one's going to be right there. That bolts out. That's the other one. So 18 and 16. Alright, be right back. Alright. So finally got the passenger side out. So that's that bolt. This side, this nut here is going to be a 17. The other one was a 16. This is 17. But the back here is still 16. I'll lay that there. Alright, so next up, should be able to lift this thing up. Should. Probably won't need to disconnect any of this. I mean, you can, I guess, if you wanted to. I mean, because it's gonna flex here a little bit, but I mean, that's up to y'all what y'all want to do on that. But I'm just gonna have to raise it up just a little bit. Should eventually pop off there. Yeah, see, I can wiggle the whole motor now. Now the motor's starting to lift up. The motor's starting to lift up. See, the distributor's kind of getting a little closer to the firewall there. Like I said, you may have to pull your cap, but I don't think I'll have to. This this go around, because like I said, there's still a lot of clearance. Okay, it's probably about as good as I'm gonna get it right there. Still got clearance. Go underneath there. See how it lifted up right there? That's not quite 4 to 6 inches, but may have to raise it up a lot more than that. So that's what you'll have to do, like I said. And once you get it lifted up, you may have to remove your distributor cap, but I'm gonna try not to, because I still got pretty well good clearance back there. But I am gonna go ahead and disconnect my breather and the cold air intake and stuff like that, and then we'll move on to the next. Okay, so I got the motor lifted up, got the breather just disconnected from here, and just kind of fold it over. Alright, so I'll show you how much room you got, pretty much. I can still stick my hand back here, and about half inch or so from touching the firewall. Now, I know some people would be like, "Oh, that's not safe." Well, I would normally not do it this way, but this is the only option that I have without stuff getting in my way. But this still works. It shouldn't move. Still pretty. It's solid. It's solid. So that's what I do anytime I jack up a motor, getting ready to go up underneath to do oil pan gaskets and stuff. I try to, even though I know it's secure, I just wiggle the motor just to make damn sure that that thing is not going to go anywhere. Because the last thing you need is a freaking oil pan getting crushed, or your hand gets crushed underneath the oil pan. Now technically, by this, I know this is a good jack, and it's a very good jack, but sometimes you really can't depend, because sometimes good jacks even fail too. And there's really no other way. Well, maybe there is, if you used to, but it may get in your way if you used to do it, is if you got a couple blocks or something braced up down here, and figure out a way to brace up your smog pump down here, your bracket or something, you know, just for some extra support. Or maybe try to stuff something like a couple blocks of wood or something down there. But so you can see where your motor mount's at. That's it. Now you can really see stuff. Okay, so this would also be a good time to, if you wanted to. I mean, you don't have to, but I'm not, because I don't really have the extra money. But be a good time to change your motor mounts at this point, because you're already here. I mean, but I'm not going to. It looks like my motor mounts are still pretty good. Oh yeah, they're good. If I'm not mistaken, I think you put new motor mounts on this car, if I ain't mistaken, so I don't have to worry about that part of it. So yeah, but anyhow, this is the process that you got to run into. So the next is now going underneath, unbolting the oil pan, and dropping it.